Growing up, it can be difficult because you will find yourself having a lot of questions and find yourself trying to figure out what is important, what is worth fighting for, what is worth defending and protecting, right? And people don't really have straight answers. People will give you, the best of their knowledge and things that are maybe too abstract to be able to accept and then be able to apply into your daily life. And for me, it was a big deal looking back now, right? It's not something that you realize at the time, but it is something that it's a big deal for all of us. And I've seen a lot of people struggle with this. Looking back, if I could have told myself, one thing would be that it all comes down to perception, and that is always what the battle is about. Whether it's an argument, whether it's about defending who you are as a character, whether it's how you see yourself or how others see you, there is a link between those. The people will say that we chase like a comfort, or that we chase some type of luxury, but even that is things even that are things that come down to how you look at them, because people go and make a lot of money and then end up buying things which are minimalistic. This idea that a lot of money will make you feel safer, it's true to an extent, but the risk is always there. Sometimes the money will only put you in positions which are of even more risk. And so somewhere you start to realize that it's the idea of comfort which actually brings you that. And so you can go even further. Money itself is based on perception now. It's no longer based on gold or something like that, but it's a question of the demand and how valuable is this thing for someone. That's what we consider to be money. And you can do your own research, but where I'm going with all this is to say that then the value that you put into your own perception has to be that much more pushed, that much more evolved, that much more evident. And what I mean by that is that there are things that you can put in place to practice this, to not be influenced, because you realize that even the commercials, that even the way people talk, the way you dress, the way social media works, all of this is meant to influence and change your perspective of things. A lot of things that we struggle with, actually, anxiety, depression, all our emotions, all of these things are actually, they come down to being about the way we view life. And you can look at it like water, right? Troubled waters don't allow for a good reflection. The color of a certain color, water of a different color will change what you see through it, what you see reflecting from it. And water, emotions are the same as water in this case. And the best case is to have clear and still water, right? And you can create that in self by understanding this concept of stillness, and you can understand that by understanding how do you create clarity. And you create clarity pretty much by being able to detach yourself from things which constantly change your point of view, right? So there's the big ones like the drugs, the social media consumption. It can be whatever it is that influences the way you view things. Relationships too do that. And stillness is a bit more complicated one, but stillness is not a stillness of like a picture. Stillness is to accept that the world is constantly in movement, and to be able to accept it for what it is, and to find a stillness of ideas within that, right? For example, if you took a river, right, the water always changes within that river, and it passes. So whenever you point at it and say, I'm going to this river, you're always referring to a different body of water, but yet you're still aiming at the same place, the same thing. You're not going to point at a different spot trying to say, I'm going to this, going to this place, going to this place. It's still the same thing, is what I'm trying to say. Just like a lot of things, right? This is a Naya bottle, right? These two, this is a Naya bottle, this is a Naya bottle, and these two are called the same, right? So one doesn't mean that the other is false. Stillness functions in the same way. Is to be able to have all these ideas as existing, all these things that you know as existing, and to allow for them to still be in movement, right? To be able to not attach, for example, yourself to an idea of yourself, which is maybe you, when you look at yourself in this light rather than this light, when you look at yourself in a sad state rather than a positive state, a happy state, and all of this, right, can be practiced, and you can practice stillness by adopting, certain actions, right? And the actions kind of they come close to the other ones, the ones which are of clarity, to develop clarity, but it also comes down to getting to an understanding of why do you do certain things, what are the motivators behind the actions that you take, and to understand yourself better will allow yourself to not just be automatically pushed by this fear or this desire or this, that, and the other. And another thing that those practices will do is that it will dissipate ego. And what ego is these false concepts, these false ideas that we live by, and that actually end up creating more disruption in the water, that create more disruption into our own life, and does not create more stillness or clarity, does not bring you closer to who you are as a person. And all that put together is pretty much what I would say to myself when I was younger, is that what is worth defending is the purity of your perception of yourself, of life. It's to be able to have an authentic point of view, and to be able to stand by it, because that will determine the actions that you take, that will influence the choices you make. It will influence the way you look at yourself and how you look at the world. It will influence everything around you. And if you defend that, you will also defend the view you have of the people, of the things around you. And you will want to look at the things around you at the best light possible, because if you see good in others, then you're also, that you're also giving the best in yourself. I hope that makes sense. I know this was a bit of a longer video, but I appreciate anybody who's watched to this point. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I put an email in the description, and you can leave me questions, and it helps me with inspiration for videos. It could be a particular situation, or it could be a general question. I appreciate it. See you.